What's up, mob? Hey, I'm here with your 250 wrap-up from Philadelphia. Tom Vialle looks set to win his first Supercross championship in only his second year coming over to the United States. What a great run, and it's perfect timing for him at his age to go into that 450 class. And believe it or not, this actually helps Deegan in the long run, and if you don't believe me, Deegan talked about it himself.
Is it a blessing in disguise in the event that you don't take the title because it kind of gives you another year in the 250 class? Have you given any thought to that? Like if there was a fast track to 450s, or would you be grateful to spend another year in the 250 class? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. I've looked at it too. You know, you win the Supercross title this year, you have 1 year to defend, and you're on a 450 at 19 or just turning 20. So that's a big step, and that's why, my goal is to win this title, but I have a long road ahead of me. I'm young, so we have plenty of time. It's no rush, but obviously the goal is to go try and win this championship. We're pretty far back right now, but nothing. It's not.
I'm going to check in on some of the rookies: Dax Bennett, Casey Cochran, Chance Hymas. They're having not necessarily great seasons, but I honestly believe all three of these guys are going to have good pro careers, and I'll tell you why. And guess what, guys? I got more information on the Chase Sexton mechanic debacle, and you're going to want to hear that. Remember, guys, to subscribe. It helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. And I laugh at the knuckleheads that type in, oh, you're losing subscribers because of your content, not because it's just automatically unsubscribing you. Yeah, there's probably a few people that unsubscribe because they don't like the content, but good for you guys. Not everyone's for everybody, so you don't need to type it in the comments, dumbass, because you just watched the video, so obviously you like the content because you watched. So anyone who does subscribe, just know I appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So Frenchman Tom Vialle is showing the promise that they thought when they brought him over last year. They knew it was going to be an uphill battle learning Supercross, especially this late in life. It's really hard. It's not something in Europe that they typically do from a young age, like Hayden Deegan. Hayden Deegan has been raised on Supercross. That's what we focus on here in the United States. It's Supercross. But he looks just like every other French rider. They have that same kind of technique. They hop bumps. They really are. I don't know why that's such a French thing, but all the French riders kind of have that technique, and it's really fun to watch. And when they get it down, it's deadly. And I took a lot of heat a couple weeks ago when I said if Deegan doesn't win this title, it might actually be a good thing for him career-wise. And my buddy AJ from Racer X, who asked this in the press conference. AJ, by the way, one of the only press members that actually asks real questions. And good on AJ, man. He asked Deegan this, and Deegan, to his credit, was very honest, and he talked about it and how he's going to have a long career. And it would be really hard if he only had 1 year to defend this championship and he had to go right up against Jet. Now, this at least gives him 1 more year to kind of develop as a man, as a racer, and get a little bit more glory in that 250 class before he's thrown into that 450 wood chipper with all those guys. And by the time he gets up there, a lot of the older guys, the Tomac, Anderson, Roxons, they might have aged out. Roxon may still be around, but some of the other guys, I don't know if they'll still be there. And if they are there, they won't be as good as they are right now. I think they're all still in their primes, and Webb included. They're all that same age. We're going to have a huge kind of turnover, and it'll be nice to see Deegan come in when they go out. Now, if he were to win this championship, I think a lot of them are still going to be there when Vialle goes up. But just to remind you guys, Adam Cincerillo in 2019 had an 8-point lead heading into the East-West final in Las Vegas and didn't win the championship. Tom Vialle will have a 15-point lead, so it's a little bit bigger. But just know, this is racing. Anything can happen, and it is not a lock that he wins this championship. Just ask Eli Tomac in that Achilles injury. This is a crazy sport with so many variables. Anything can happen. With that said, I still think he's going to get it, but it's not done until they hand that plate. Max Ansty got his first Supercross win that wasn't a mud race. Max Ansty straight up won this race. And it's crazy, on the same week that word gets out that he's leaving this team and going to Star Yamaha. Yeah, you heard that right. That is confirmed. He has signed with Star Yamaha for, I believe, next year. I believe it might have been a 2-year deal, but I have to confirm on that. Don't quote me. But yeah, Max Ansty going to Star Yamaha. Apparently, Bobby Regan just wants the best riders. He's an older guy. He doesn't have kids. And if he wants to spend all his money to win races, good on Bobby Regan. It's amazing for the sport. And I thank him for doing it. Hey, Star Racing, go for it. With that said, now that Max has won on the Honda in dry conditions, if he does anything less than win on that Star Yamaha, which I think he will win on that bike, if he doesn't, everyone's going to be like, well, he won on the Privateer bike, but he can't win on the Star Yamaha. It's not a good look for Max or Star, but, you know, it's just one of those things to consider. Hometown boy Seth Hammaker, coming back from a shoulder injury, looked awesome and looked on his way to a podium, riding his ass off. He faded a little bit, but what do you expect? He's coming off an injury. He won his heat race and was just riding out of his mind in that main event, but he had Jalek Swoll right on him on the Triumph, who's also having a career best ride. He won his heat race also. First one for him, first one for Triumph. It's tough for me when I watch that incident because I'm a fan of both of these guys except for Seth starting. You know, he's taken out a lot of people in starts, but I don't think that's any news to anyone. But I still they're both really good. I want to say kids, but they're getting a little older. They're both really good young men, and I like seeing both of them do well. And at first, my first reaction was, why didn't Seth check up? And I blamed Seth for that incident. But then upon further review, it was probably a bad judgment by Jalek to kind of, he should have been a little bit closer to make that move. I mean, we're talking 3 feet. If he's 3 feet forward, that works perfectly. But he wasn't. And unfortunately, it cost both of those guys their shot at the podium and took what was a career night for both of them. And they still had a great night. They both won heats. They both looked really good in the main, and they were both inside the top 10, but they weren't on the podium where they probably would have been. Guys, if you use science to train your body, go to CompleteRacingSolutions.com. Coach Rob is all about measuring sweat rate, heart rate, and all the different things, but he's got the energy fuel, and he will formulate it depending on your sweat rate. Go to CompleteRacingSolutions.com. Epic Garage Designs, the coolest garage designs you'll ever see. They are here in Las Vegas, and they will ship anywhere. Go to epicgaragedesigns.com, and if you're in Las Vegas, go to A1 Garage Doors Instagram and register to win your dream garage. They've partnered with A1 Garage and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Let's talk about some of these prospects or rookies in that 250 East. We've got Dax Bennick, Chance Hymas, Casey Cochran, some of the notables. They are riding really good. Now, Dax Bennick kind of put himself against it by getting a podium his first race, and now everyone expects a podium. But he held on and got fourth place. That was one of the quietest fourth place. I had to go back and look to make sure he got fourth place. And he's riding good. The kid is talented and will definitely be a force in this 250 class. I'm interested to see how he does outdoors. Can he maintain the success and be a top 5 guy outdoors? If he can, look for him next year to make some big leaps and be battling for podiums and wins every single week. Chance Hymas has had a really weird year. I don't know what it is about Hymas. He's awesome. He's a great kid from a great family in Idaho. I don't know why. I just don't see the talent that a lot of people talk about. Maybe it's because he's on Team Honda so early, and once you're on Honda, there's all these expectations. And then there's the fact that he was out last year with the torn ACL, and he's come back and he promptly tore his other ACL at the first round, but he's riding through it with a torn ACL. So, I mean, you got to give him props for that. But the kid is making improvements, and he finished behind Bennick in 5th place. So good on Chance Hymas for toughing it out and not whining about his leg and just doing what needs to be done and getting those all-important starts. And I want to say it's his rookie season, but he did ride quite a few races last year. And he didn't quit racing Supercross because of his ACL. He tore his ACL afterward. In one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen, they decided to sit him out of Supercross while he was doing well to get ready for outdoors. And I still don't understand that, but I guess that still makes him a rookie this year, kind of. I don't know how Hymas is going to handle that ACL injury. That's not an injury that heals on its own. With that said, some people can ride with no ACL. I don't have an ACL in my right knee, and I haven't since, I don't know, a long, long time. Does not bother me one iota. Poor Casey Cochran. Casey Cochran wins the Futures Championship last year. But according to some stupid rule, and yes, it's a dumb rule, how do you win the Futures and not have enough points to turn pro? Well, apparently if you're a B rider or classified as a B rider, you don't earn points towards your license. Seriously, true story. This has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in the racing rules. If you're allowed to compete on the track with the A riders and you beat them, you should get points towards your pro license. So the idea was he was going to come in, he had an off-season shoulder surgery, which is brutal. Then he comes in a little bit late. He's planning on riding East. He's going to do the A2 Futures, hopefully get those points to qualify. He gets hurt before the A2 Futures round, and he's not able to do that. So he has a slow start. And it's so hard to jump in mid-season when these guys are dialed in, ramping up the intensity. But he's doing all right. He's making the mains, and he'll get better. Check out Ride Strapped. Ride Strapped has your patriotic goggles, glasses, shirts, you name it. Ride Strapped has got everything. And they will be with me at the Paula National. We'll be camping out. I think we're doing a cookout, but we're not sure how that's going to go because I don't know if MX Sports will allow a Cooksey cookout at the Paula National. There's a really good chance they would freak out. So we're not sure how that's going to go, but we will be there camping out if you want to come over and just have a burger. We won't call it an official cookout, but can't stop people from socializing. If you ship anything, use Precision Transport. The Madden family, it's a family-owned business. They're just great people. They have customer service, reasonable pricing. Head over to pretransport.com, especially if you're tired of these trucking companies jerking you around. And they do, believe me. Okay, so yesterday I kind of trashed Chase Sexton for firing his mechanic, or what appeared to be him firing the mechanic. Apparently, the optics on that weren't what it actually was. Chase did not want his mechanic gone. He did not. But he brought him over from Honda. Apparently, KTM didn't want him coming over from Honda. They had already had another plan, and it really rubbed some people the wrong way. So his mechanic never felt comfortable. It was almost like guys were at his throat from day one. So Zimmerman never got comfortable on that team, and it was like they were waiting for any sort of a mistake to just blame him, to get him out of there. And I'm told Chase did want to keep him, but he was overruled by KTM brass. And what's really baffling is why wouldn't KTM come out and say this? They're really letting Chase Sexton take the brunt of this, and that's really chicken. You know, big companies like KTM have a PR department. They don't know what they're doing. They're idiots. They have no idea this makes them look way worse by letting their rider take the heat than actually just coming out and say, hey, we didn't want Zimmerman. We didn't think he was the right guy, so we got rid of him despite Chase's concerns. It's strange, but hey, they're going to do what they're going to do. Let's see if they come correct and actually put out some sort of a press release to protect their rider who's getting roasted. And because you look at the optics, I mean, Chase comes off the track swinging his arms, yelling, because let's be real, if a rock actually broke that throttle, nobody would care. It wasn't a rock. There was something wrong mechanically, and they blame the mechanic, and that's why he's no longer there. Let's see if KTM does the right thing and protects, their rider and just sets it straight that they didn't want Zimmerman and it had nothing to do with Sexton. All right, guys, thanks for everything. Remember, if you need a real estate agent, I'm your guy, chriscookseymedia@gmail.com. Wherever you're at, I can get you set up. So thanks, guys, and I'll chat later.